Cisco and HashiCorp's Terraform series, Infrastructure as Code, focusing on day 0 and day 1 deployments. This one's network objects. So let's jump into FMC. We can see our network objects here. Let's go check out the code on DevNet. And you can see here they're pulling an existing object and then they're renaming it and using the same fields. And then there is an option to create a new object, and I'm going to do that as well. So let's go ahead and check out some of our var.tf and terraform.tf vars, as we have in many other videos. And now let's jump into the meat of it, into main.tf. We can see here we've remmed out the first one, and we're going to create 3 objects. And then we're going to have an output of each one of those objects. Pretty simple. So let's go ahead and run initialization of Terraform. And then let's go ahead and run our apply, which will give us an opportunity to have that plan or understanding of what changes are going to take place. Looks good. Let's go ahead and implement those changes. We're creating objects. And there's our output. Okay, let's go and make sure that we see that within Firepower. Let's do a quick refresh here and maybe scrub or filter the data. T is not a great example since everything's almost got a T in it, seems. But here at the end, you can see we've got our 3 objects of each one of those networks. And as always, let's make sure we can reverse those changes. So let's go ahead here and run Terraform destroy with the auto approve. So this allows us to run it without having to enter yes and acknowledge the change. So that's going through. That's outlined all of our changes, and it's now destroying those objects. And hopefully we get success here. And I believe it's 3 objects that should be destroyed. And there they are. Easy peasy. Come in here. Let's do a quick refresh. Scroll to the bottom. And there we go. So that's it. Pretty easy to implement. In this one, we're going to create network objects like we did in the previous video, but we're also going to add a new network group and collect a couple of those objects and use them in that group. So we can see here they're pulling some data and they're creating an object, leveraging some of the data that they pulled, and then they've got the ability to create that group and add those objects to the group. There's literals as well here that we're going to actually create a host object on the fly as part of that group. Okay, so again, var.tf is our variables, and then we got Terraform's TF vars, which is the data supporting those variables. And we've seen that many, many times. Let's go to main.tf, the meat of the discussion here, and we can see we've got our provider, we've got FMC details, and then we've remmed out that first piece, and we've created 3 objects. And then we're creating a network group object and inserting only the internal and DMZ object groups. But at the same time, we're creating this literal, that host, on the fly as part of an object now within that object group, or that grouping of objects. So let's go ahead and initialize Terraform. And once that's complete, let's go ahead and apply. Like always, apply is going to give us an opportunity to look at our changes, the plan, and if we're good with that, we can say, yes, we're good, we're going forward. Let's go ahead and get those objects created. And Terraform's working away, building this out. We're almost done. We should get some output here, and we did. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and check out Firepower, and let's make sure that we actually are seeing the objects that we just created. Quick little refresh here. The filter of T is not a great filter, at least the way I'm using it, because almost everything has a T. But you can see DMZ inside, and then you can see that T inside, T DMZ, and there's that literal 10.10.10.10. And if we go a little bit further, there's the T outside. So that one was not included in the group. So perfect, that worked as expected. Let's go ahead and destroy. We'll use the auto approve, which means that we don't get an opportunity to say no here. And stop the change. It's going to move forward. And you can see 4 destroyed resources. So let's do a quick refresh here. And not seeing anything here. And here is good too. So it looks clean. Everything was deleted. Now, the other thing we can do is, again, we can jump into audit and have a quick peek. I'm jumping into audit a little bit more sparingly in some of these sessions, only because if you're watching the collection of videos, we've done this many times. So there's the delete. You can see a bunch of them. TDMZ, TMZ inside. And if we go in and check it out, we can see that on the left is what was, on the right is what is now. And that's it.